our panelists. I learned a lot tonight from all of you. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate hearing from all of you. And it's such a nice, different group in terms of coming from different places. But I think that the whole problem of disability, whether it's within the Black community or any place, is so large. Think about the fact that since pre-Christ, when you had leprosy, you all would chase down to, you didn't deal with leprosy, you hid them. And throughout civilization, we have always hidden the disabled in mental hospitals, wherever, in back rooms with locks on them in their own families' houses. Disability is just something that's going to do more than just information. It's the same kind of healing that we look for with racial justice issues. We can put all the information we want out there about racial justice, about racism, and people need to evolve. And that's a long-term process, but we'll keep working on it. But thank you. Oh, bye-bye now.
Good night.
See you all.
Right. Thank you for the opportunity.
I had a question for Classy.
Oh, let's do it real quick. I know apologies, Devon.
It's the most important question, I guess. I did want to say something to Mrs. King. They mentioned that I do work with Multi-Faith EMI, which is out of Ebenezer Church, Senator Warnock's church, Dr. King's church. Christine King, who is Dr. King's oldest sister, survivor, she's passed away, and they're having funeral services for her all week long. And I thought about that name, that name, Ms. King. But Ms. Ferber, I did want to ask, how many people that were in the mental health realm of DOC voted back in 2022? Because ACLU says that there was only 3 people that voted that were in confinement, that were in DOC.
So I'm going to also ask Joanne to help, because we did it as a collaborative effort. At that time, I was working as the primary advocate for individuals with mental illness, and spent a lot of my time working at the Delaware Psychiatric Center. But I think we had probably a total of 42 people that voted. And of those 42, about half of those individuals were at the Mitchell building. And of that number of individuals, probably between 3/4 and 7/8 of those people, I wish I could give you, if I had anticipated, I could have given you a direct number, but probably 18 of those people weren't people who were Black or Hispanic or Asian.
They didn't include those people in the prison population. They don't include them.
And I'm not sure
Ms.
why.
Kingsley,
I
I don't
mean,
know why.
the Mitchell building is it's an interesting hybrid of the Department of Corrections and mental health. So it falls under the Delaware Psychiatric Center, but it is also a level 5, detention facility. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Joanne, or if you can correct.
No, you've got it right. I just wanted to clarify that we were at DPC, or Psychiatric Center, and not at the prison per se. So the 2 votes, and actually I think they sent out 2 forms and got 1 or maybe none even back. The ones that we were successful in registering and assisting to vote were at DPC, Delaware Psychiatric Center, where all of them were in pre-trial detention. Is that right, Lisa?
No,
Okay.
some of them would have been already sentenced. Some of them were guilty but mentally ill. Some were not guilty by reason of insanity. Some were there for competency evaluation and restoration, so they hadn't been. So there was a whole continuum of where they were on their criminal justice journey, or as far as sentencing.
A deep dive into what you do, and we have several questions for you and for Lisa that we'll come to after our next speaker. DMarqueHall, who's going to talk to us about disability in correctional facilities and some of the experiences that he's has awareness to. So thank you, Devon. Please speak.
I'm thankful to be here. I want to just thank all the other speakers. I want to thank all the other panelists. I'm looking forward to answering any questions at the end. I have some questions myself for you guys, and I'm looking forward to that. I did talk with Hope earlier today about some of the numbers, about some important numbers that deal with people incarcerated here in Delaware. And I went online, I went to doc.delaware.gov, and they keep track of the number of people that are incarcerated. And of course, they don't use the language that we should use when it comes to people. They don't use that people first language. It says number of inmates. The number of inmates, it says right now, is 3,463 people in confinement, locked up, behind bars, 3,000. On pretrial detention, meaning they haven't actually been to court yet, they haven't been proven guilty of a crime, it's 1,271 people. The number of offenders, that's what they call people that offended, on probation, that's 10,413 people on probation. So all these people on probation until Senate Bill 180, which our Senator Kyle Evans Gay, who's a woman, Kyle Evans Gay, she's from Wilmington, she's from up here where I'm at, and she's an attorney, she's smart. Kyle Evans Gay wrote this legislation for people on probation, these 10,000 people in Delaware on probation, to be able to vote. Mrs. Kingsley, I work with her with the Delaware Voting Rights Coalition, it's volunteer work. ACLU, Delaware put this together. Everybody that wants to do anything about voting rights can be a part of this group. There are members from the League of Women Voters. There's members from NAACP. There's members from the Divine Nine. There's members from all over Delaware that are part of the Delaware Voting Rights Coalition. That organization is key. The Delaware Center for Justice is a part of the organization. When it comes to letting people know that they have the right inside to be a part of this democracy that we care so much about, including people with disabilities that are inside, because people that are locked up include women. People that are locked up include people with all kinds of different learning disabilities that ended up where they shouldn't have been because they didn't have anywhere else to go. A lot of folks don't subscribe or identify as disabled, and when you don't and you end up in jail, it's not an automatic thing that you're going to be treated like somebody that has a problem. You're gonna be treated like trash, just like everybody else that gets thrown in jail. I'm gonna say it plainly like that, because our population of people, Black people that don't have money, don't have means, don't have education, end up in this rut. And we know the problems, but I'm going to go back to the numbers. 953 people, not offenders, but people, are on pretrial detention within the community. So these are people waiting for trial, they bailed out. And it even says the number of people released. All these numbers that I mentioned, you guys, are in the thousands. The number of people released in the past 24 hours, 5. One hand, 5 people. So you're held on to. And once you get out, whether you got a disability or not, no matter what the crime is that you've committed, it's on your record. If it's a felony, if it's one that has to do with just something that had to do with poverty, something to do with trying to make money, something to do with maybe selling drugs or something like that, where you're trying to feed your family, whatever it is that you're trying to do, we know it's not right. But you end up having this felony on your record.